morning. LeeOGT. It's almost Halloween, so I did a little special on Dunn's Mountain. The stigma that was attached to it. Well, about to pass Dunn's Mountain right now, matter of fact. And I'm going to a graveyard. I checked 3 lists, scariest graveyards in North Carolina, and I'm sure every state has scary graveyards, but North Carolina being where the first colony was, the Virginia Dare and Roanoke settlement with the Croatoan. Anyway, we have some of the oldest graves in the United States, other than the indigenous people. We're going to go take a look at the cemetery. I'll give you a little context on it. Going around Dunn's Mountain right now. So this is called Cheney's Graveyard. Now that's not the name you'll find when you look it up. But when I was a teenager, we wanted to know if this little rumor or ghost story or tale was true. So back in those days, you didn't have social media or Google. You wanted to know something, you had to read a book or go to the library, look up the newspaper article. Well, we did. And I'll tell you everything about Cheney's, but I'm going to tell you the story about a man named Chaney when we get here. Alright. Alright, now that you have a little context, you know that the family lived here since early 1800s, late 1700s. Come down with the settlers, followed the Yadkin River all the way right here to Gold Hill, North Carolina. Now, since there isn't a living family member left, you know, the Park and Recreation Department, the state took over the land, made it a wildlife sanctuary. Actually, a boat ramp is what it is, but that's what they call it. That's okay. It's definitely an improvement. This used to be an old, bumpy dirt road with a cemetery with graves from the 1700s that no one keeps up. And we always wondered why. And you know, when we got a little older, we started hearing the stories about the groundskeeper there at Chaney in the late 50s, early 60s, who come to a tragic demise in the cemetery. Now, as you read in the article, the cemetery is right next to water. And you know, they say the paranormal or spirits, disembodied ghost voices can escape through water. Water is like conduit, and if water gets into a grave or a graveyard, then it can turn into a spooky situation. So this graveyard is dead on the water, so much so they had to put a fence in the back of it, and definitely there are graves that are in the water. Maybe even came out in the water. Who knows? If somebody reported a casket or something. Or I guess it was pine boxes back then. It wasn't caskets. So we're talking about a long time. We're talking about a graveyard. This isn't a Confederate cemetery or nothing. All the other haunted graveyards in North Carolina are all Confederate cemeteries. This isn't. This was a small, privately owned cemetery by the dam. The Yadkin River Dam is not far from here. And, alright, we're getting closer. Here it is. River Road. Fitting name. It used to be dirt as well. So yeah, on the way to this excursion, I actually didn't have any of the context other than I read that the Reed family had moved from the 1700s. It wasn't until after I get to the cemetery where I learned these things. So again, thank you viewer for watching. This was 2.5 hours that I spent in this cemetery. So it was a profound experience, as it always has been. Thank you for watching. I'll subscribe, likes, comments, notification bell, all that helps. Again, thank you for being here. Try to put out original content as much as I possibly can. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, that sign there says the boat and access area. All this used to be dirt. For several years, it's been paved in the last maybe 10 years. All right, so onward we go.
So now, I'm gonna tell you and show you this story of a man who lost his life for doing nothing but trying to take care of a little graveyard.
All this used to be dirt. Really, the only people come down here was people looking for trouble. There was nothing down here. Now, as you can see, it's a wildlife area. It's nice. Except for the graveyard that never gets any attention. And through this area here, I have adjusted the hue and the brightness of the video because it was very, very dark. So hopefully this will help improve the quality a little. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I do have to get ready. I have in-state COPD, but I don't talk about that a lot. But kind of hard not to explain why I have an oxygen bottle. It's not a proton pack. It won't fight ghosts. It will keep me from becoming one. So, with that being said, a disabled crippled ass. Use the word ass. is going to go in this haunted cemetery right near Halloween by myself. Sorry, say by myself. If I do, it's because I keep thinking about it. It's okay. I haven't been here since I was a teenager. Eating acid. And as you can see here, Reed's graveyard, Cheney's graveyard, is right on the water. Cemetery on the water. This is fact checking a lot of facts I'll give you later in the video about who owned it and how they got here. Very desolate graveyard. The aluminum company owns it now after the river was dammed. This next part's going to tell you about how a lot of the tombstones have sunk or gone missing. Well, it's the graves as well. So here you go. I'm about to explore it all. All right, let's do this. Camera's working. Reed, that's who owned the land. Looks like somebody would take care of this. Looks like 1965. 1833. Blue hour. Everything looks blue. Such a beautiful color. So the story I always heard was there was a guy named Chaney who really, his biggest purpose was to keep up this graveyard. It made him feel sense of accomplishment. Wow, that one ain't even got nothing. can see how the graves are starting to literally sink into the ground. These are so old, the writing on them's gone. That grave right there is seriously sunk. I mean, that's terrible. This one's sunk so much that tombstone's falling backwards. Camera straight. I don't want to step on nobody. Look at that one. So, I heard a bunch of younger kids come down here. Chaney was here. Chaney was kind of had like Down syndrome. One of these trees, they tried to beat him up or something, make fun of him. So he tried to fight back. Supposedly they killed him, hung him by one of these trees. With his testicles in his mouth. Jesse Hodge, 1792. January 18th. That's my birthday. Wow. Sorry, that freaked me out a little bit. January 18th is my birthday. That's when that guy died. That's a little weird in itself, but the craziest thing is my dad died on my birthday. That's weird. So my birthday's always been kind of synonymous And that was weird. All you gotta do is look up Danny Logan, don't follow Allison Chain's reactions, and you'll get one from Sebs Duran and from Ben and Sori, all talking about my dad died on my birthday. I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know this. Okay, I never even put this together, believe me or not, but I had a friend hang himself on my birthday also, 2 years removed from my dad. And that's how Chaney supposedly died. Don't get me wrong, I don't think my friend knew it was my birthday, but he left a note in his pocket for me to settle some things with the family. A few little things he wanted me to tell his sister, his mom, a few little possessions he had. And the note said that if anything, I helped him. Anyway, it said, listen to the song Don't Follow when I think about it. Not to be sad. Don't worry, don't follow. So, it's just weird. Fishermen are starting to show up. Moon's still out. That was weird about the birthday thing. And this blue hour, I happened to stumble across it. Look how pretty that is. I happened to stumble across it when I was checking to see what time the sun come up today, because I didn't want to come in the middle of the night, just so nobody would think I was trying to vandalize the place. As you can see, it's been done. I don't know if the Chaney story is true. I do know this place used to be called Cheney's Graveyard. Ever since then, somewhere between the late 40s, early 60s, and yeah, I mean, to be hung by a tree with your testicles in your mouth. We did go to the library, and there was an article about Chaney, but it just said he passed away and was buried here. It didn't have any details. It didn't have a cause of death. Newspapers in the 50s and 60s were not quite as accurate, or they had to worry about getting sued or copyrights or anything like that. So yeah, the plantation set right here. Says the name of it's Reed Graveyard now, even though in the article it was REED on that tombstone. Okay, I need a cameraman. Anybody know a good cameraman? So, I've never been able to figure it out. Still can't. Alright guys, I'm going to go back and see what year that reed is. I have propped the camera up on the fence, and I'm walking around to go back and see how the spelling was on that reed. If it was REID like I thought I seen, or if it was REED, the way it says in the county records. Okay, there's Aaron Love Miller. My piece of junk phone will pick it up. It's actually very dark out here. Aaron Love Miller, November 14, 1880 to December 28, 1904. He's 24 years old. Another Miller, Emmanuel Miller, 1835 to 1904. And there's little bitty ones, like, basically like little markers. So it seems funny to me, a graveyard on the water, a graveyard that's owned by the state, or a state-owned entity. There are some flowers. So, people have loved ones in here. Why would they let this place get this bad? Now, these are questions I was asking at 16. I'm 43. Don't make good sense. I mean, it's one thing to have a spooky old graveyard. It's another thing to have it where the graves are literally sinking in. Those graves down the back, I know it was dark. Those graves are literally sinking in, and they were back then. So you got a graveyard on water. You got a graveyard that had somebody keep it up. Supposedly he got killed. He definitely died. He's definitely buried in here. Now, whether or not that story's true, that may just be something that the powers that that own it may just give that story where they ain't got to come clean it up. I mean, who wants to dig up bodies from the 1800s that are literally falling into the water? That fence, by the way, used to be further down. Wow. It was weird then on LSD. It's weird now in sobriety. David C. and Caroline. David C. was 84 years old. Caroline was 33. David C. died in 1903. Caroline died in 1910. So, I think 1823 or something. David C. was, and it is R-E-I-D. Now, my guess is it's misspelled in the county records, which are kept so neat and organized as we can plainly see. See the moon? Rest in peace, Chaney. I mean, they can make a nice little building over there since I've been here. But they can't turn them tombstones over. Okay, so that's the story of Cheney's graveyard, and everybody around here in my town knows it. And whether or not the murdering part's true, the scary part is that all these loved ones in a cemetery are being neglected or disrespected or haven't had a proper burial. And if you believe in the witchcraft stuff and that a body can escape through water being in a cemetery, then that makes for a pretty dangerous combination. I'm glad I had nothing to do with that. I have nothing but respect for this reservoir, this river, this county, and Chaney. So, all right, guys, have a happy Halloween and rest in peace, Chaney.